How's the secondary looking so far in fall camp?
We're a work in progress.
What excites you about the group and the potential it has this year?
We have a lot of talent. We're still trying to put it together. You know, it's an interesting group because we have older guys that are old with a lot of experience, and then we have true freshmen. So we really don't have that middle ground. So to watch it all mesh and come together, it's been a treat.
I mean, obviously you don't have any returning starters, but like you said, a lot of these guys have played a lot of football elsewhere. I guess what's the key to making sure they gel together and play well as a unit, even though they haven't played together very much?
Communication. Having a high understanding of the scheme and what's being asked of you as far as the standard of how we play football, and elite communication. When things don't go right, it's usually a communication lapse. So as long as we communicate and we play fast, we'll be okay.
Looking at a couple of the cornerbacks you added, AJ, I think we're going to talk to him in a little bit. I guess what's kind of stood out about him? What did you like about him in the recruiting process?
He's a vet and he's physical. I'm looking for skill sets. I'm not looking for how many snaps you play, but I'm seeing if you have the body mechanics and the movements that we need for you to play the position the way that we want you to play it. And he had those traits. Even though the scheme was very different where he came from, I saw some things, I liked what I saw, and we made it happen.
And what about Rambo?
He was actually injured at his previous school, so he didn't play a lot either. I believe he only played 3 games. He got hurt early in the season. He has a skill set. He's a bigger and longer corner that does a lot of good things. I don't want to give too much about what he does well, but we're excited to have him. We're excited to have both of them.
You guys really elevated the personnel you had to work with last year. You got Keaton to the NFL, obviously, and then Chad and Coates both had really good seasons. I guess what do you feel like was the key to getting the most out of those guys and playing to their potential?
Well, I would say first and foremost, Keaton got himself to the NFL with his play. Did we guide him on what he needs to do? Absolutely, but he had a skill set and he put in the hard work, so he earned that. I don't want to take no credit for that. When it comes to Coates and when it comes to Chad Brown, again, we laid the blueprint for them. They followed the blueprint, and now you see the results. You got Mike at West Virginia. You got Chad at Purdue. Just saying, the blueprint is the blueprint. And if you follow the blueprint, it will always heed results. We've done more with less. Those guys were a blessing. I was happy to have those guys that year. Now we got a new group, and we move forward.
How similar does it feel to last year, though? Just kind of breaking in all these new guys, but seeing that there is potential if you do give them the blueprint?
Truthfully, it feels completely different. Last year was last year. You know, again, you're taking on a group that you inherited. This year, we've recruited like 85% of the people in the room, so you have a better feel of who they are, how to reach them. You know, once you go through the recruiting process, if you do it the right way, you know who you're bringing into your building. Last year, we didn't have that, and it was such a fast turnaround. You know, you may have missed some things, and we inherited a lot of people that had been with 2 staffs. We were the 3rd staff. Not everybody bought in. This year, because we recruited them, the buy-in was completely different, and I think that's the biggest change.
So you feel like you're starting at a better point entering this fall than last fall, just because?
Absolutely, absolutely. And again, I love the guys that we had last year. This is no shot to them, but not everybody bought in, and you can see that as the season went on.
How difficult is that, trying to get through a season with guys who might still be a little bit hesitant?
I mean, it's very tough, but you rely on your leaders. You know, you teach them what's right, and they have to teach each other, because at the end of the day, this is their team. Our job is to be the compass and to guide them, but you need players to take ownership and leadership to lead this thing to go in the direction that we need to go to win ball games.
What characteristics were you looking for in the portal?
Can't give you all that. I can't give you all that. I can't give you all that. I can't give away the sauce, but you'll like the results.
From a coaching standpoint, what goes into getting a brand new quarterback group up and going, a brand new safety group up and going, and getting everybody to kind of not necessarily buy in, but gel collectively versus guys who have played year after year with each other?
Right. First and foremost, before they buy into the scheme, they have to buy into you. If they don't believe what you're teaching them and what you're telling them, the scheme doesn't matter. Once they buy into you, that establishes trust. You teach them a technique, the technique works, they're like, oh man, that makes sense. I get it. So in any buy-in, they have to buy into the person who is teaching them first. It's just like a classroom. You know, I had the privilege of being a teacher for quite some time. So it's the same psychological approach.
What makes a good secondary?
Trust. I have to trust that you're going to be where you're supposed to be. Being able to rely on them, trust, competitiveness. You got to have a little bit of grit. You know, you got to have a little bit of that oomph to you. And if you know what that oomph is, then you get what I'm talking about. But it's trust, it's commitment, and competitiveness. You got to have an edge about yourself, because when you give up an explosive play, the only people that truly understand that feeling are people who played in the secondary. Chin up, chest out, champ, and keep moving.
What's something that you learned in the league that's maybe like the most important quality to pass along to younger guys?
There's no play like the next play, but the difference in being good and being great, being average and being good is your preparation. When you look at Sundays, we all think there's crazy athletes. The athleticism is really close. There's only 1% of the 1% who is elitely a better athlete, but it's the intelligence, it's football IQ, and how you prepare your body and your mind is what separates you.
Could you talk about Hayden McDonald a little bit? He's played at a very high level at the
Right.
FCS, and just why you thought he'd be a good fit for your team.
IQ, obviously he's very smart coming from the Ivy League. He's very accomplished. He's very experienced. I don't want to get into skill sets too much because I don't want to give away what we have and how we're using our talent, but we liked his IQ. I'm familiar with Hayden. He's from O'Day High School. I'm from Seattle, Washington. Coach Beck coached at O'Day High School, actually coached him in high school, so there's a relationship there, and it was somebody that we knew previously, and I think anytime you have previous relationships, it makes it easier. We actually recruited his brother. He wound up going to Arizona State, but we had him to the last moment, and he went on. So the familiarity with him made us feel good, but the football IQ.
How do you feel like that instantly builds that trust? Because he just came here pretty recently, wasn't with you guys during spring, and just already having that trust from the jump.
But I also think it matters what you do in that time from when he signed in January to when he got here in June. So all I can say is he was prepared.
For you personally, I saw you were inducted into the Montana Football Hall of Fame.
Yes.
This summer, I guess, could you just talk a little bit about what that means to you?
It was humbling. If I told you I didn't expect to be in the Hall of Fame, that would be a lie. I played to be remembered. I played with intentions of being great, and it was an honor to be recognized by my peers and by that community. I was actually inducted by the state. I haven't been inducted by the school yet, but last time I checked, the state was a big deal. So it was extremely humbling. I was fortunate to be able to have my family there, my parents, my sister, my children. So it was truly a blessing, and it was humbling because sometimes you don't know if you are appreciated or if you are valued or if people recognize what you did. Even though I had a pretty good career, this was the 9th year. So I was excited. I was truly excited.
How do you just hope maybe something like that, can show guys, hey, you can play at a smaller school, you can
Right.
be here at Nevada, and you can still
Right.
achieve your dreams and play at the next level?
Right. Well, I don't see Nevada as a smaller school. I went to an FCS school, Division I AA back in the day, so I don't know if they still call it that, and I was a 3rd-round pick. So we try to encourage these guys that if you can ball, you'll get that call. No matter where you're at, as long as you're doing things right, you're showing the skill sets and the ball skills that they want to see, they'll come and get you. Obviously, we're in a different time, with the portal, so that's more so, for what your seniors. But my job is to develop you to get paid somewhere else or get paid in the league, and that's how I approach it. It is what it is. I'm not going to cry about it. I'm going to embrace it like we embrace everything else. So if we got guys going to West Virginia, if we got guys going to Purdue, if we got guys going to play on Sunday, I think we did our job collectively. But I want to say this, those things are able to happen when guys around us are doing what they're supposed to do. When the D-line, who I think is phenomenal this year, I think Coach P and the staff has done a great job, recruiting those guys up front. It makes our job easier. So we're very fortunate for the group. I think Coach Johnson's done a hell of a job with the linebackers. Coach Kane's in sync. He's dialing it up. He's calling plays, and I'm excited.
Taking over the whole secondary, is there any different feel for you?
I'm just doing what I do. I think it makes it a little easier from a communication standpoint, but, nothing really changes. Me and Coach Ione, because we play together, we communicate, so I make sure things are the way he sees them, and we just move forward.
Given that you did play with him, tell us something about Kane from when he was a player and maybe just a favorite memory of being a teammate.
Physical player, high IQ. He was always a high IQ guy. One of the things that I love about him, Kane is Kane. Kane has been the same temperament, the same way since he was 18 years old. We started as freshmen together. We played 4 years, so there's a lot of sweat equity, blood, sweat, and tears. He's a fierce competitor, and I love him. That's my dog.
What was the advice you gave to Keaton as he went off to the NFL trying to make a team as a 7th-round pick?
Trust yourself. Trust yourself. You're going to make the team on special teams. Do what you do on defense, but you make that club on special teams. Keaton Crawford is a very elite and special athlete. Don't be surprised if that young man is a Pro Bowler on Sundays. And I have nothing but the utmost respect for him, trust for him. The number one thing I'm proud of him about is he got his degree, and that means something. When he left the other institution, some people didn't believe that he can get a degree, and he got a degree, so kudos to him.
One of your safeties was voted a team captain before ever playing a snap for Nevada. I guess what was it about Mervin that people, feel like they could give him that honor before he's kind of made his name at Nevada?
He's vocal and respect. Merv came from a FCS school. He's played a lot of ball, but leadership. Leadership. He's shown leadership, and people trust him. And being a safety, you have to communicate. You have to do those little things. And again, going back to what we talked about earlier, buy-in. He's had elite buy-in. Now he's the extension of the coaching staff, and people like that.
The challenge you guys are going to face when you open the season at Penn State, I guess, how would you describe that? How much are you looking forward to that?
Coach Franklin has an excellent program. He's done a great job, even going back to when he was at Vanderbilt. So I have nothing but respect for him and his program, and it's going to be a challenge. But, at the end of the day, Nevada's worried about Nevada. And I say that with the utmost respect, but we can't worry about the week one opponent. We're going to focus on us. I think we understand the challenge that's at hand, and we'll be ready for it.
So you hit the portal and you come to Nevada. I guess what stood out about playing for the Wolfpack?
Wolfpack, just the hospitality that they come with, and Coach Choate, he had a charming kind of aura to him that, made me want to come along and be a part of the pack.
Since you've gotten here, I guess what have you most enjoyed about being part of the program, just living in Northern Nevada?
For the most part, I'd say just the camaraderie from the team. I've been in 3 different locker rooms, and it's probably the closest that I've been with any teammates or, team in general.
A lot of new guys, I guess. How have you guys gotten so close so fast?
We do a lot of activities outside of the facility. They've been having us do a lot of team bonding, so I think that's what brought us together.
You guys hiked that Mount Rose, right?
Yes, sir.
How was that?
Ooh, it was a challenge, but, for a lot of us that come from different areas, we're not used to, different landscapes and being able to have an opportunity to hike a mountain or something like that. Like myself, I'm from Houston, so I never did anything like that, so I enjoyed it for the most part.
A little fly fishing too?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. That was cool right there. Yes,
what do you hope to bring the secondary and just to Nevada's defense this season?
Can you say that again?
What do you hope just to bring to this secondary and Nevada's defense?
I hope to bring intensity, some takeaways, and just some energy. Just to hype the defense up a little bit.
You've played in this conference before, and you started in this conference. I mean, how much confidence does that give you that you'll be able to play at a high level?
It gives me a lot of confidence because I haven't played in a conference for 2 years straight. So for the most part, I feel very confident being able to come and compete in a conference that I played in when I was younger.
So people who don't know your game, can you just explain what your game's all about?
My game is all about just doing my job, whatever the team needs me to do.
In terms of how the secondary is coming together, so many new pieces on the back end, how are you guys gelling and performing so far throughout fall camp?
I think we're performing real good. I get credit to Coach Thomas. He makes us compete for the most part, and you can't play for that guy if you don't want to compete.
What are some of the biggest things you feel like you guys as a secondary still need to really work on these next couple weeks during fall camp?
I would say takeaways. Those are big game-changing plays right there. So I would say just taking the ball away more efficient, more often.
How comfortable do you feel like you and some of your teammates are that even though you guys are new here, you do have playing experience at other Division I schools?
We're very confident because we put the work in. I like a phrase that said good things that happen to people that work. So we put the work in, so we're very confident on the back end.
This secondary was pretty unproven last year, and one went to the NFL in Keaton, another guy went to West Virginia, another guy went to Purdue. Did you look at all at how much success the staff had in developing those guys when making your decision?
Yes, sir. That's one of the big factors that came out to it. They developed a lot of people. They had great results with a losing record. So if we can win, I think those results will be way better.
Coach Thomas being an NFL player, third-round draft pick, does that help your decision-making process as well, or do you not necessarily look at a playing for?
100%, because you want to be coached by somebody that did it at a high level eventually. So that kind of made me pick Nevada for the most part to learn from a guy that did it at the highest level.
How'd you get to cornerback? Is that what you played growing up, or were you more of an offensive skill guy and then moved over later in the process?
I played cornerback my whole life. I looked up to my older brother. He kind of set the standards for me.
Did he play somewhere?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Tell us a little bit about him.
He played at Iowa State. He kind of set the foundation for me. you know, growing up, watching him do that, you know, he set the standard for me, so I got to come out here and try to be just like him.
What's the mindset you have to have as a successful cornerback? Obviously, you know, every now and again you're going to give up a touchdown.
Dominate. We got a phrase in our room, dominating is a lifestyle, so every play we want to dominate, we want to win. We want to win every play.
You know who came up with that phrase, or was that here before you got here?
It's a guy named Zion that was here, and we kind of, you know, just rolled with it because it was a good phrase.
One of the guys back in the secondary with you, Mervin, he's voted a team captain before he's played a game for Nevada. I guess, what do you think about him made the team vote for him to be a captain?
He's probably one of our hardest workers, one of our most trustworthy guys. He got a soft spot in my heart for him, you know, that's one of my best friends, so I think he deserved that.
Is that someone you knew before you got here, or you
No,
guys
sir.
just gotten that close?
No, sir. We kind of just clicked right when I got here.
Obviously, outside expectations, you guys were voted last in the preseason poll. I guess what makes you think that prognostication is going to be inaccurate at the end of the season?
Just the work we put in, the camaraderie we got, you know, just how we trying to change everything from last year, the perspective that they give us, we don't worry about that, you know. So if you're not in this house, I don't want to cuss or anything, but forget what you think.
Going to Penn State to open the season, 110,000 people. I guess what are you most looking forward to about that opportunity?
I'm ready to see how we're going to compete. You know, they say that that's one of the highest levels, so we got an opportunity to compete at the highest level, you know, see what we got, you know, make some plays, make some names for ourselves.
Seems like you guys brought in like 7 or 8 transfer cornerbacks. I guess who else has kind of caught your eye in this competition to start?
I say the whole room. I want out our one guy from the freshmen to the older guys. We all compete at the highest level. Like some days it's like, dang, you know, this guy, he pretty good. So they kind of keep me competing at a high level every day, made me be better.
You were there with Marcus at UTEP, and now you're both here. I guess what was it like going against him in practice? How difficult was he to stay on?
Ooh, that guy, he's a sleeper right there. People will look at him and, you know, underestimate him. He's pretty hard to guard, but, you know, I enjoy guarding him.
How would you compare this locker room, you know, in comparison to some of the other teams that you've been on?
I'd say we're way tighter than I've been with any other team, just off the outside activities that we did together. I'd say this probably number one out of every team I've been on.
Do you have a favorite bonding activity?
Bonding activity. I'd say the bowling we just did. I'm a big bowler. We just went bowling as a team, you know, so it's a group full of competitors, so I get the best out of everybody. That's something that I like to do, so bowling was my favorite.
You knew I had the high score?
I say Nate Burleson. He's a real good bowler right there. He's real good. So
have like his own shoes and ball and stuff, or
he might have his own stuff, but he was balling on us for sure. So.
Did you ever play here at Mackey Stadium for when you were at New Mexico?
No, ma'am. I've never played Nevada before.
looking forward to playing New Mexico this year? I think that was back in Albuquerque, right?
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that game. Albuquerque got a soft spot in my heart, so I'm ready to go there and play good. You know, hopefully I can get my first interception at Dream Style Stadium.